So you're thinking about moving down here to beautiful Vero Beach? Well, stay tuned, because in this video I'm going to go over 5 things that you need to know before making that move down here. We're going to jump into that right after this. What's going on, guys? My name is Andrew Pench. I'm a local realtor down here in beautiful Vero Beach and Sebastian, Florida. If you're looking for a channel that goes over what it's like to live, eat, sleep, play, find all the activities, and buy real estate anywhere in the Florida East Coast, then please like this video, tap that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, because I'll be uploading a video every single week about what it's like to live down here on the East Coast of Florida. I'm getting calls from people every single day, and I absolutely love it. So if you have any questions or concerns before making your move down here, then give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, because I will have your back when making that move down here to the Florida East Coast. I wanted to say first that we are on the boat right now. We're in the beautiful Moorings Club here in Vero Beach. So you'll see all the houses with deep water canal access. I'm looking at my GPS down here, and it actually says we're in about 14.5 feet of water on this canal access. So if you have a bigger boat, something that sinks a little bit down into the water a little bit more than a flats boat or a bay boat, then this is the perfect place for you. Just make sure you get enough shoreline to where you can fit that size of a vessel here on the property. But this is an amazing neighborhood. It has great features, great area, highly recommend it. So that's why I chose it to be the background for today's video about the 5 things you need to know. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. And number 5, what I wanted to start off with is Vero Beach is not the sleepy town it used to be. It is no longer Zero Beach. So guys, as you know, if you've watched this channel before, I recently moved down from Orlando, Florida, and about a year ago bought a house with my wife. We have a 9-month-old baby now, about to be 10 months. I still can't believe it saying out loud. He's growing so much and turning into such a character. I love it. And since moving down here about a year ago, I took about an 8-year break up in Orlando. So I moved up there for college, ended up opening up a restaurant, and stayed there and ran that for about 5 years out of the 8 that I was there. We just bought a house, like I said, last year, and oh my goodness, the changes that Vero Beach has had since when I left to today, and it is great. So a lot of new businesses coming in, a lot of new mom and pop shops, along with some other bigger franchises that has made its way down here. What I like to focus on mostly is the mom and pop shops, because when you come to Vero Beach, you come for more serene, family, quieter lifestyle. So there's been a lot of other things, a lot of other people that have opened up businesses that has gotten on and caught on to the trends that we are starting to see in the bigger cities, such as acai bowls, poke bowls, yoga studios, fitness things like Pilates, just different types of things that you normally would expect, like Orange Theory. We don't have an Orange Theory, but we have things that are very similar to it. Different things that I saw up in Orlando that I didn't think would make its way down to the smaller coastal town of Vero Beach. We are now starting to see pop up left and right and center. So the town is definitely growing. We have a lot of opportunity left for new businesses to come in. So if you have bigger plans, big dreams of opening up nice business inside of a small coastal town, trust me, we have the demographics to fit your needs, and hopefully they won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Another thing I wanted to touch on is the event calendar that VeroBeach.com has. We have all sorts of events that are always happening throughout the week, and on the weekends especially. There's always a big turnout for those events, because there's not really a stagnation of a variety of different things. Usually it's 1 or 2 things to pick from, which brings in the entire crowd. So if you're new to the town and you want to get to know your now what you think might be a sleepy town, it'll change your perspective for sure if you go to one of these events and see how many people show up to these things to make it such a lively event and a lively place to live. Another thing I wanted to talk about too, and especially during the season, is that the beaches are definitely getting more crowded, there's a caveat to that, but not if you know where to go. So the bigger beaches such as South Beach, JC Beach, and the bigger parks like Humison Park, yes, those are a little bit more crowded, and definitely something that the locals don't participate in whenever it's the season, because it's pretty hard to find parking, and there's just not that much enjoyment when it comes to locals who just want to sit down and enjoy their serene beach that they used to have before everyone started moving down to the East Coast of Florida. But if you know where to go, if you're a true local, then you know just to head a little bit north of JC Beach, and up there's going to be all sorts of slivers of private beaches. There's also beaches that hotels will have as a private access. Yes, it says private access, but trust me, a lot of people, if you know where to park, they're not going to stop you from going up and down and using those accesses to the beach. So if you're resourceful, you know how to use Google Maps, and you can find those little slivers of where you can park. Usually sometimes there's smaller parks with about 15-20 parking spaces, and you may be the first one up closest to the sand because no one else even knows it's there. So true locals know where to find these places at. If you're a visitor or just now getting used to it, now I give you some insider secrets. You don't have to go to the big crowded parks that Vero Beach is known for, and what is publicly known to tourists who are coming from out of town. All right, now it's time to jump into the number 4 thing that you need to know before making that move down here, and that is parking is free. Parking is free just about everywhere. So unless it's a private business that may be running their own system or doing a valet, which I haven't seen really any of here in Vero, parking's gonna be free just about anywhere you go. So all the public beaches are gonna have free parking. If you are towing a boat and towing it down to the boat ramp and you want to park your truck and trailer while you and your family are out having a good time, parking is free for that. And also the use of the boat ramp is free for all the public boat ramps. All the major events in downtown parking. So in Orlando, we had the parking tolls, and you had to parallel park, feed the toll meter, and hope that you got back on time for you to not get a ticket. Here in Vero Beach, you can parallel park in downtown, enjoy all of its amenities, all the restaurants, all the bars, and not have to worry a single bit about paying a penny to park that car. So that is a great little tip that I like to tell people, because in a lot of parts of Florida, you don't have that luxury. So it's a big thing to mention, a big thing for you guys to know, and maybe a determining factor for a lot of people when they're trying to figure out where to visit in order to do their shopping for buying real estate or where they want to permanently move to when they make that move down to Florida. All right, guys, so now it's time to jump into number 3 of the 5 things you need to know before moving down here to the east coast of Florida, and that is going to be that Vero Beach is centrally located to a lot of bigger cities here. So if you look at Vero Beach on a map, you're going to notice that Vero Beach sits right in the middle of the state on the east coast. So if you want to make a drive up to Melbourne, which is a little bit of a bigger city, if you want to drive up to Orlando, or if you want to go down further south to maybe, let's say, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, even Miami, you are just in between those 2 options, and you're maybe an hour and a half away from Orlando, maybe 30 to 45 minutes away from Melbourne. West Palm Beach, you're only going to be about an hour away. Fort Lauderdale, probably about an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2. Depending on the traffic, because it does start to get a lot more congested when you make it down to that part of Florida. So you're not very far away from a lot of big metropolitan areas here in Florida when you're living in Vero Beach. So it's definitely a big plus for a lot of residents, especially since you have such easy access to I-95, which is a toll-free road, by the way. Something else that a lot of people forget to mention. Most of the big highways up in Orlando were toll roads, and I always had to keep the sun pass there. I was constantly getting tickets from it not reading the sun pass properly, so it was a pain in the butt. Definitely something you don't have to worry about when living down here in Vero, which is awesome. All right, so now it's time to jump into number 2 of the top 5 things you need to know before moving down here to Vero Beach, and that is that this area of Florida is mostly populated with snowbirds. So if you can see around me, I don't know if the camera angle is going to be able to pick it up or not, but to my right, we have a house that is boarded up. Just 2 or 3 houses above that, we have another home that is boarded up. Directly behind the camera, we have a house that is boarded up. And I can, I'll just probably put in some B-roll footage too of me showing these houses that are boarded up, because most of the residents that live here are seasonal residents. So they are snowbirds. So snowbirds, they spend half of their year up north when it was hot, like right now it's about 92, 93 degrees outside. I am absolutely burning alive. I don't know how much sweat is showing up on the camera right now, but it is very, very hot outside. During the season, this is some of the most beautiful weather that you will experience. So that's why they decide to spend the hotter months up north and then spend their cooler months down here in Florida. I wish I had that luxury, but I do love Florida. I'm a Floridian, 4th generation by matter of fact, so it's definitely something I've learned to embrace. I've grown up around it, but I can see the reasoning as to why they would like to live that kind of lifestyle, especially if they have a job or they're working up there. But if you're 100% remote and you only have, let's say, the funds or the means to do only one home, Florida is definitely a great place to live. It doesn't take that long to get acclimated to the heat, and plus you've got air conditioning, so you know, who's complaining when you're inside and the air's cranked down to 72. So between November and May-ish is when we see most of the population picking up here. And then after May, that's whenever you start to see it kind of dwindle down. Right now, it is the middle of June, and definitely was a nice quiet drive over here. Not a lot of boat traffic, as you can see behind me. I am just sitting here, plopped down, anchored down, with no real traffic coming in and out like you normally see during the season. All right guys, so now it's time to jump into the number one thing that you need to know before moving down here to the east coast of Florida, and that is, obvious choice for me, it is a boater's paradise, of course, as you can see. So, you know, a lot of opportunities if you're a boater, or if you plan to be a boater when making that move down here. There is endless opportunities for you, whether you're just the cruising type to where you just want to grab your family, go to a local island, or go to the sandbar or the cove over by the inlets. You can choose to do so. If you're a fisherman, there is endless opportunities to do that, because you're right in between two inlets here. You're in between the Fort Pierce Inlet to our south and the Sebastian Inlet to our north. And this is a wonderful middle ground spot for you, with all the ecosystem and everything that is involved to be between both inlets. There's a lot of great fishing down here in Vero Beach for that reason. If you plan on buying a bigger vessel, one thing I wanted to talk about too is the deep water canal access. So I've already mentioned I'm in the moorings club right now, and there is 14.5 feet of depth beneath my boat right now of water, which is plenty of water for you to be able to clear any normal sized vessel, even larger sized vessel. I imagine even a barge could get back here if they chose to do so, or if they wanted to. A little skinny for that, but I wouldn't recommend it. But 14.5 feet is what we're working with in this canal. There's also the fingers with also deep water canal there as well, about 10 to 12 feet dug out in the canals there. You see a lot of bigger sailboats and some yachts actually in the fingers, as long as you have enough room, shore size, for you to fit in there. You've got Vero Shores and River Shores, which is by far the most budget-friendly way to get on the canal with a single family home. And then of course you've got your variety of options to do with condos, such as the condos behind me. And then you can maybe see the variety of dock space that we have here, the shared dock space that the condominium has at the moorings. So a lot of opportunities for boaters here. There's also plenty of marinas, public boat ramps, and also if you chose not to live on the water and you wanted to be on the mainland, you can buy a lot big enough, or a house with a lot big enough for you to store the boat on the back. Or you could probably keep it at a yard. Well, I say probably, but you can for sure keep it at a yard, anywhere between $50 to $100 a month, maybe a little bit more than that depending on the size of the boat, for you to store it behind a fence, and it's going to stay on your trailer behind that fence. There's wet slips options as well, like what you see behind me, and it's really just endless. You can have the marina dry storage it for you, get it up on a forklift, bring it down, drop it into the water. So lots of things to do. I've made a bunch of videos about those types of styles, different ways that you can store your boat down here in Vero Beach. I'll actually make a card for the video in one of these spots. I forgot which direction the cards go up, but it's gonna be up here somewhere. And really one of the big things that I just wanted to hit home about was the fact that out here on the water, it is not too crowded. I have been to Clearwater Beach, I have been to Sarasota, I've been to Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and oh my God, it is a nightmare at some of those boat ramps. It is a nightmare to be out in the water. You're constantly hitting other boats' wakes, and if you're in a smaller vessel like me, I'm on a 22-foot boat and it's not a very deep hole, then you get pretty beat up in those. But here, you could just see that the water here is a lot less crowded, a lot easier to manage, and you can almost cruise from, if you go on the right day, especially a beautiful day like this during the week, you could cruise from Vero Beach to Sebastian, or Vero Beach to Fort Pierce, which is a 14-mile hike, by the way, with maybe seeing 5-6 boats in total on the entire cruise there. So I thought that that was pretty cool. But anyway, that really concludes my video for this week. I do appreciate you guys sticking with me here. Once again, if you have any questions or concerns, or you want to make this your new home, then give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, because I will have your back when making that move down here to the east coast of Florida. You guys have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Thank you so much. Bye.